Welcome to the Zesty Ginger podcast. We are Megan and Dr. Alex. We are here for transformation. Yours, ours, and the collective. Personal and professional for practitioners. But not just any transformation. Compassionate transformation. Because between the two of us, we have seemed to have done things the painful way. Let our pitfalls become your stepping stones. We aren't afraid to share our raw and vulnerable truths in order to help you transform your thinking, your body, your heart, and your soul. Combining 15 years of functional medicine with brain-based habit change to lead you to the best life possible in a compassionate way. Compassion, yes, yet plan to roll up your sleeves. Transformation requires your participation. And a quick reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your doctor, not this doctor, before making changes. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, this is Dr. Alex. I wanted to take one little moment to invite you to the opening of our Health Transformation Accelerator program, and it is open right now. It is open for a limited period of time because we open it twice a year. It is our 12-week transformational program. You can use it for any transformation you want to undergo, whether you are starting out still working on your health or you have healed and you are on your next mission to help heal the world. We got you. It is for you. So check out the link down in the show notes. You can also just go straight to zestyginger.com/transformation. You can read all of the amazingness that is included in it, exactly what we're going to be doing for the 12 weeks. And you can even listen to and see the real transformational stories of the people that have gone through it. Now, we do have the opportunity to hop on the phone with someone that has been in the program. So reach out to us, shoot us an email if that is something that you are interested, and we will get you the links to hop on the schedule for that. Also, we have amazing bonuses happening each day. So it behooves you to join as early as possible because you get all the bonuses then. But no matter when you're coming in, we'll be announcing on Instagram. So go to zesty_ginger and follow us over there. Turn on your notifications for the account because then we're going to be announcing all of the amazing bonuses so that you make sure you don't miss out on them. We are going to be so excited to start here shortly, and we would love to see you there as well. We can't wait to support you all in your transformations because we know what that's going to create in the world. It creates magic, it creates healing, it creates wholeness, and that is more of what we need. So that is what we're going to do. We invite you to come on over, go to zestyginger.com/transform to sign up, and we will see you there. Hello there. Welcome to the Zesty podcast. It's Megan and Dr. Alex here today. Hello. Hi, Alex.
Hi. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we are connecting on this beautiful Saturday morning so that we can bring you some amazing content. Today, we're going to be talking about the idea of transforming the timid leader. So for those of you who came live to our success habit training recently, we really spelled out, and thank you all for being there. Thank you all for participating. It was so cool to see how active everybody was in the Facebook group and how active they were on the lives. And even more importantly, is we had people leaving and saying what they were going to commit to, and then posting about it or tagging us or sending us messages about the things they had already taken action on. So we just want to do a little pat on the back for all of you who participated. Thank you. We know that these series are powerful, free or not, right? When you actually show up and do the work. So it was very cool to watch.
Yes, and one of the lots of fun prizes, lots of fun wins, and the stories that people are sharing are just amazing.
Absolutely. And one of the topics that we went into is the empowered leader versus the timid leader and how we see that from our perspective. And we want to go into a little more detail today. And before we get started, we want you to know we're very, very excited. Right now, we have the doors open. We have an invitation for you all to our Health Transformation Accelerator. We open this program just twice a year.
And it is a 12-week online fabulous community and group program that can be done from anywhere in the world. And we want you to know that now is the time. Tomorrow is the last day to join for this round. So come on, jump on in. And for anybody who joins today, we do have a very cool bonus. So we have our, it's called Zesty Transformation Essentials. The idea here is understanding language, the basics of neuro-linguistic programming, the basics of using language to speak to yourself, to try to get you to do what you want to do, and also speak to others. How do we use language to talk directly to the unconscious mind? How do we use this in a way that's powerful when we want to do good in the world and we know we're here for a mission and we just feel like we haven't really communicated that? This is going to break down the language piece. It's a little mini course on essentially what we do in our in-person 7-day training. So you get that for free when you join Health Transformation Accelerator today by midnight Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited. Yeah, the art of persuasion for both yourself and others is one of the most powerful tools that we can be resourced with. Because whether you're trying to get your kid to eat broccoli or you are trying to change the healthcare system in the United States, the art of speaking to yourself and others to create the kind of life you want is a crucial piece of making it actually happen. So while HTA already has a lot of amazing stuff for that, this adds another really cool layer that really empowers people in a way that it puts the ball back in their court and they get to speak and create and to live the kind of lifestyle that they're really seeking. And that kind of setup leads to massive confidence, a massive boost of self-worth. And really at the end of the day, that's what we're all about.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, the name of our program right now is Health Transformation Accelerator, which will be changing. This will be the last time we run this program in this specific way. What has happened over time is we've had women come in to work with us. They get their health to a different place. And then they're like, well, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do with this energy? What am I going to create? And then they start to go for bigger goals. They start to realize sometimes that the health complaints and the focus on symptoms was a big old convenient distraction from the big scary things that they actually want to do. Mm-hmm. So to step into that empowered leader role, we really do want to have our physical health and our physical body on board. It's hard to really go for your dreams when all you can think about is, the pain in your body. So we had one of the members of our Health Transformation Accelerator, the last round, she came to our January event, our in-person event that we had in Virginia Beach. And it was so cool because we didn't quite know the full story, although she came in to the program to work on physical health, to work on cycles. She had a really intense cycle that would make it that she wouldn't really want to leave the house because she was afraid that, she wouldn't, it wouldn't be safe to be away from a bathroom, and traveling, being on a plane, all that during her period was just out of the question. So she came in to work on her physical health. And she even admit that she said the first couple of weeks of the program, I was really irritated because I was like, okay, come on, get to the testing, get to the stuff that I'm here for, where is this thing, about my cycle? And she trusted the process and she trusted us as the guides and realized that, yes, we did get to that. And yes, she did get to test her brain chemistry. And yes, she got a customized protocol. And it was about so much more than that. We set up the foundation for her in the first few weeks that then when she actually got the protocol, it worked magically. Exactly. So it was such a cool moment where she was sharing in front of the whole group of women, this huge group of women, that, here she was, she had flown to Virginia Beach during her cycle to come to our event and was able to actually attend things that she never would have been able to attend. And this is part of stepping into that empowered leader, is first really getting your physical body on board for your goals.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that process is the process of setting yourself up for success to heal is not something that's mysterious. There are very clear steps to laying a foundation that leads to a protocol working like gangbusters. It is not something that's nebulous. And so if your experience so far has been to jump to the protocols, jump to the diets, jump to that kind of stuff, and that's all that the people that you work with are talking about, we're here to tell you there's a lot more to the story. And it didn't take her years to lay that foundation. It was, like she said, a couple weeks. Then it was ready for brain chemistry, and then it was up and running. So if that's not something that you have experienced, give yourself the gift of actually doing things differently in a significant enough way that you really prove to yourself that life can be different.
Absolutely. And so, and they say that success of a business is 80% the psychology of the business owner. And I think this really applies over to health, right? Success
And
of a
life,
health
yeah.
is 80% your psychology. Success of being
Parent.
a powerful leader, being a powerful parent. So we set this foundation, even if someone's like, oh, I don't want to talk about that part. Well, there's a reason why you may still not be the leader you want to be, or you may still not have the physical health you want to have. And we have a very systematic, you all probably know by now, of 7 steps, and they go in a certain order for a certain reason. And then one, you can come really make sure your body is in an optimal state. And then you can also make sure you're ready to go from the timid leader to the empowered leader. Then we're here for that too. And we're totally ready to guide you from that.
Exactly. Because really, let's say the transformation of the timid leader into the empowered leader is characterized by getting the things that you want, right? At some point, you become empowered to make decisions, move forward, take actions, and then ultimately reap the rewards of what you created. And so if that's not your reality, if you feel lost or confused or like you're floating, stepping into an empowered leadership role within your life, right? This isn't necessarily jumping to now all of a sudden I lead 1 million people. It's, are you an empowered leader for you? Are you getting the kind of results and living the kind of life that you are really enjoying? And if not, then this transformation is something that can absolutely happen. It's just a choice to begin to live this way. And over time, it becomes easier and easier and easier to maintain that, continue it, and to just embody the fact that you are an empowered leader.
Absolutely. Let's just talk through our list of what the timid leader looks like. Does that sound good? Okay.
I think that there might be a lot of relating to this as we read. I know that we did.
Yeah, so this is essentially where we were to where we're headed now, right? We're like, what were we doing when we were in a place where we weren't actually getting what we wanted? And then we had a lot of stories around why this was other people's faults. So this is where we land in the timid leader, is we are in the category of being super burned out from doing too much. And what's underneath all of these is like, why are you doing too much, right? We were doing too much really to prove that we were worthy, to prove that we were awesome, to prove that we deserved to be doing this thing we were doing, right? Proving to other people, even proving to ourselves. And the timid leaders also, they're learning, right? But they're not ready to actually invest in themselves. Like maybe they'll do a little bit, maybe they'll listen to a podcast, maybe they'll read a book. But when it comes to actually purchasing or going all in, they're not doing it. And then the same thing is happening on the other end. If they are offering something, people may be learning from them for free, but they're not actually buying what they have. When someone says words that you don't actually feel that they are living, you will feel that. You will feel a disconnect, and you might be like, well, what that person says is really good, but if you don't actually feel that they are embodying it, you're not going to go buy their stuff. And you might just have this little feeling of like, I don't know. right? Has anybody here experienced that where you're like, what they're saying is really good and just not buying it? This is in the timid leader category. And then the next one is always second guessing. This is a pattern that keeps us continually jumping from one thing to another, right when maybe we would have been breaking through, and right when we would have gotten to the edge of we got into the limits of what's comfortable for us. So right when you're about to break outside the comfort zone, we go, ooh, I feel the little twinge. I feel something's not right. And then we second guess, jump to a different process, a different protocol, a different plan, a different guide, a different mentor, a different coach. When really we were right there, we actually just had to lean in.
Yep. Asking a bunch of questions, getting more authority, listening to other people's opinions, eliciting a million opinions when you are already confused. That tends to be a hallmark, right? You have a bunch of options that you already don't know what to do with. And now here you are getting more opinions.
Yeah.
That's a really strong pattern to start to notice because it'll tell you a lot about yourself.
Absolutely. And then the next one is you're still editing yourself and still editing everything you do. So perfectionism falls into this. This does not exist. So really it is a way of just never actually putting the work out there. And when you don't, no one can know the amazing gifts you have for them. Nobody can even see, and you can't get feedback. You can't get better. If you keep it to yourself, there is no way to improve it. So when you're constantly editing everything you do, whether this is just the words you're saying or what you're thinking or what you're putting out there, this is still falling into the timid leader category.
Yeah. Some examples are editing your website for the millionth time, changing the price of your program a whole bunch, saying, I can't put the program out because it's not done. Long story short, if we didn't put stuff out there when we were kind of ready, and we'll talk about that as an empowered leader, we would never get the feedback from people that would improve what we had initially created. And so the act of always kind of editing and thinking, if I get to X, then I can do Y, is you can hear your mental gremlins talking like that. And that's how you'll know. It's, I can't be in a relationship. I haven't healed enough from my last one. I can't be a good leader. I don't have enough certificates or enough knowledge, imposter syndrome. Those kind of thoughts are in the timid leader category. And so you can either listen for the thoughts or look for your actions, which is sitting at the computer, editing your website, that kind of stuff. So there's always evidence in your life of who you are being. And so when we remember to go through the 4 bodies, it's like, what is my physical body doing when I'm in the act of still editing? What's happening in my head that's feeding that? How is that making me feel in my emotional body? And what does that tell me about who I am and how I fit into the world, right? What am I here for? What's my purpose? And all of it will have evidence. So shall we talk about the other side of the equation?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because a lot of us do relate to the timid leader. And quite honestly, once you start to identify some of those patterns, then it's time for looking at where you're going, fixing your eyes on the empowered leadership traits and moving in that direction. Because again, to sit around and dissect why you suck is just more timid leader stuff, right? You're just losing time and energy doing that. Because once you have the self-awareness, it's time to choose differently and then go empower yourself to do those things. So we got to be real conscientious and have some good discernment around identification. And then when the guilt and the shame mental gremlins get wet and pop up, we go ahead and we can answer them and begin to say, but I hear you, but what would an empowered leader do? So what does an empowered leader actually look like? Well, an empowered leader is someone who It's not that they don't have fear. It's not that they don't have doubt, but they understand that those things are actually pointing them in the right direction, right? When I feel doubt, when I feel fear, it means that I'm doing something new. It means that I'm going for something else. It means that I am transforming. They think in that way. So rather than the absence of problems, they have control over themselves and their responses to the problems, and therefore they see themselves from an empowered state. So what does that actually look like? They feel that their schedules are theirs to make. What energy do I have available in this season of my life? What time do I have available? What else do I need to be doing? How many people do I need to interface with, and what feels good to me, right? They don't prioritize security and which is ultimately a little bit of illusion, right? We don't have the ultimate security over our life. We don't have that kind of control. You could have all your ducks in a row and then boom, a buzz, right? So with that, it's the control over the responses, and therefore, what am I doing in my day? What have I prioritized? How am I approaching all of these things that I have to do? And how is that impacting me? Is it feeding my energy or is it depleting my energy? And then 2, when people function and live and embody being an empowered leader, they invest in themselves because they understand that their transformation and their inner world will determine everything else. Like Megan was saying, because it's the main determinant percentage wise, and that's brain based and energy based. The result is that everything about them that is becoming is the priority, right? How can I become more of who I truly am and more of who I want to be? And so that, because it's their top priority, the evidence in their life exists. You can look at their bank account and you can see that they're investing in themselves. You can walk into their home and you'll see books on the bookshelf that look like self-development books, right? You can see that they actually not only invest, but follow through in the taking the action from it. And what that looks like on our side is that Megan and I just have the stance, we're going to get one piece of value, one valuable thing from everything that we do. And if that's all we get, then it's a success. Obviously, most of the times it's many, 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 many things that we can't even fully go into. But the reality is, when we think that way, we make the choices to keep investing in ourselves, to keep growing. And we have yet to experience investing in ourselves and not seeing monetary and results feedback. It just always is like that. But the leap comes first often. And it's cool because then people buy from you. From empowered leaders, people look at them and say, they're different. I want what they have. I'm listening and I'm watching, right? And when you can speak to people's problems and help them identify what's wrong, and you can help in the diagnosis portion of that, well, then they're going to trust you for the healing part too, right? Because you've done it. So number 3, there is no failure, only feedback. So empowered leaders understand that without trying things, without taking it on, without exploring and being curious and being willing to try things on and see how it goes, that's a cornerstone of empowered leadership. Because when you're a leader, we talk about this a lot, right? Leaders are creating new in the world. And often these are new thought concepts, thought leadership. How do we look at the world that makes us feel empowered to make it a better place? Then it stands to reason that we need to then have the courage to explore, because we are creating from scratch. We are creating something that has not yet existed in that way. And because you are essentially birthing it out into the world, if you're not willing to explore and be curious and to try things out, That process will be very, very difficult. It will be slow, and it will never feel fulfilling to your soul because you're denying the path to get there, right? You know, in your heart, you have the desire to change the world, but if you don't try stuff out and try it on, then you don't do that. And your spirit will always tell you, right? I'm not who I could be, and I'm never going to be okay with that. And that's where most people feel, sad, depressed, anxious, those kind of things. And when we change our thinking around it and allow ourselves to become who we want to become, well, then your spirit heals, your heart heals, and you feel whole within yourself. That's a big one. And then number 4 is honor C+ work. And we get it. To the all A's student listening to this, you probably just got like an eye twitch, right? And this was us too. But what is really happening is often that it seems like C+ work to you because you have the leadership vision and the know-how to understand that your take on things is not the only one, right? So part of putting things out and letting other people interface with your work and what you have to say and your thoughts is that then you get to see a more complete picture. What do people need? What do people want? And then your work becomes A+ work because it's actually tailored to what the world needs, not just, this isn't, like we always say, it's not the Alex and Megan show, or as you listening to this, it's not the you show, right? This is us and the world, a win-win-win for everybody. And so honoring and having the courage to say, I'm going to evaluate this as C+ work, but it is enough to get me started. And it gets me being able to start talking about this, start talking with people, getting feedback, just seeing how it goes. Then they really run with it and take it all the way to absolutely phenomenal work that changes the world, right? So empowered leaders, the no failure, only feedback really begins to inform the allowance for C+ work. And it really, even though we say C+, that right there is as good as we aim for to begin the process of getting more information about it. And for us, that essentially translates to that's our A, right? That's what we began. And now in a collaborative and collective way with the humans around us, we get to make it even better. So that's empowered leadership.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Living by the C+ work has just been huge game changer for me because, we were, like Alex said, the A students getting the grade to get the grade and not necessarily for the learning, not necessarily for the living it. So it was a big difference when you realize when you have your own business, getting an A doesn't do anything. It doesn't do jack for you, right? Like when it's a pretend A and you aren't really living it or knowing it or understanding it. So actually fully embodying like what I say in the C+ work, like if I want to put something out, if we share something and we're like, well, we're really living this all the way to what we said is a different thing than just putting out this A, the thing that looks like the A+.
So true. And actually, you can really see this powerfully applied to relationships. And it almost highlights it better than work or business, because honoring C+ work means that you can come to your partner and say, I feel conflicted, I feel confused, and I'm not perfect or set on this, but I'm willing to open myself and be vulnerable and speak to you and share my conflicted things and arrive to a conclusion to you. And that looks so much messier than, being conflicted, just picking one, lying about it and being like, here's what I want, and when that's not really authentic to you. So that's what we mean by, if it looks good on the surface and it's an A, but it doesn't meet your requirements, it will just undermine you, right? Whereas C+ work looks like C+ work because it's messier and it's not complete, but that's the point. It isn't complete. So lying about it does you no good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the emotional stuff that we talk about is really key. And that's why emotional processing is such a big part of Health Transformation Accelerator, and why we teach a process called DIMES right away in the 7-step, is because for that, right, moving through, most people understand that conceptually and still feel so much fear that they're scared to do it. Understanding how to calm your body down and move through the emotions and letting them guide you instead of letting them scare you is how to actually execute on that. And that is exactly what we teach, the how of that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we see that keep people really stuck from actually making the transformation, from actually turning into the empowered leader for themselves, their community, their work, whatever it is we'll hear, I don't have a vision. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I'm going for. We hear that often. And I definitely, as you'll hear, this was all from our personal experience as well. The idea of dreaming or saying what I wanted was very scary, because what happens if you say what you want, then you can fail. But as we mentioned, the empowered leader believes there is no failure, only feedback. So you can't actually fail. You will get closer to what you wanted if you go for it than if you don't even do anything at all. So we are really helping the women we work with, the people we work with, have a clear vision and a clear goal. Although, a little caveat here that I want to share is one of the cool things about modeling. So the idea of finding someone that you want to model, finding someone that looks like a leader to you, that has a similar lifestyle, has a similar business, or whatever it is that you're looking for, finding someone to model is, as you become more of an empowered leader, you'll realize the more you know, the more you realize you don't know anything. So you start to realize, I'll go into something, an event, for example, and of course I have an idea of what I want to learn or what I want to do or get out of it. And it becomes a really high level concept, because honestly, what I want to learn, I don't even know what it is that I need to learn, because I don't know that thing yet. That's when I go and I find out there's a concept that I haven't even heard of, right? So there's people that are offering this and can provide the foundation. So right now, one of the mentors we learn from, I have gone in a deep dive into understanding team building, and we're really working on the company culture and understanding how to manage people and grow in that area. And it's just not something that I have spent a lot of time studying or learning. And in the process of digging into this topic, I am just like constantly aware of how little I knew about it, and how many gems there are while looking into this that apply to everything. So if I had said, well, I don't need that area because it just didn't seem like it applied to me, or I wasn't interested, I would have missed out on all this amazingness, all these things that can apply laterally to every other area of life. So instead, I came in and I said, hey, you are our mentor, and you are further along in certain areas of life that we want to be further along in. So what do you have? And we're just completely open to learning the next thing. And even though team building specifically hadn't been like on the list, I realized how incredibly important it was. So you can have a vision, and you can also not have a clear vision, and you can step into following and modeling someone that you at least know the general idea is there, that that's the direction you want to go. Did I make that clear, Alex?
I think so. And let me say it another way, just in case someone isn't clear on that too. The goal is to give yourself enough resources, right? That's what is the hallmark of an empowered leader. They are equipped for the things that they are doing. And if they're not equipped, they figure out how to get equipped and get resources. And what it looks like then is, if you don't have a vision or the ability to have a vision, you want to have a process for establishing it. And what you want to shoot for is to have a high enough vision from a high enough perspective, right? We use the Empire State Building example. Whether you're in the lobby or you're in the sky deck, you're still in the Empire State Building, but the vision, the perspective that you have is much higher from the observation deck. And so whether you currently have a vision or not is not as important as, are you putting yourself into environments where you can be resourced up to figure that out and see it from that higher perspective. Because even, we can break that down in Megan's experience with exactly what she just shared, right? The vision that we have is high enough that we know what we are creating in the world. That means that everything that pops up underneath there, we are open to seeing it, right? The team building, because it fit underneath the overarching vision, the one that we will be going towards for the rest of our lives. That vision there's flexibility there, because how it looks and what you need and what resource you need change in every season and every, week, day, hour, that kind of stuff all transforms. And so not only do you have a vision, but do you have a plan for maintaining and reorienting that vision when life gets a different, right? How do you have the processes in place to make sure that your vision is always high enough that you can take on and appreciate the resources that come up for you and the places where you are guided? Because really, from a lower perspective of the vision, that's where people would have looked at that kind of stuff and like, I don't want team building. It's kind of like how people are like, yeah, just give me the labs. I don't care about the mindset thing. They don't have the perspective to know how much that matters. So they have no idea how much they're hurting themselves. Whereas when you are resourced to elevate your vision and to maintain your eyesight on that vision, then you will be able to appreciate the people and the programs and the investments and the resources that come up along the way that serve you. So how's that, Maggie?
Yeah, that clarifies for sure.
Right. Yeah. So vision is crucial. And really, I'd say the most important part is the process of finding and maintaining it, because the reality is that the vision changes, right? As you go down the road, the vision comes more and more into clarity. And sometimes things shift a little bit depending on what's going on. We're not in a vacuum. So, one person decides to do something else, they may not be the resource for us, right? But we live in a way that is resourced to always be responsive and to be equipped to figure it out. And that makes us feel so much safety and security in our body that is not based on the security of like a bank account or a job or a house or anything like that. It's the actual security we get to keep, which sounds like no matter what happens, I got it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And we can help people. We can help you all, anybody who is stuck in what is my vision. We have a process, right? We're actually going to calm the physical body. We're going to help with your brain chemistry. We're going to give you the optimal resources and the optimal chance to really get that as clear as possible, clearing out the beliefs that would have stopped you from creating a big one, adding in the ones that will empower a big one. So we, like Alex said, this is so important to us to get aligned.
Absolutely. And it's step number 2 even, right? It's not even step number 1, because there's more legwork to do up front. If you can't see your vision, there's a reason for it. Or if you're not clear on it, or if it keeps changing, right? Those things, there's a reason why. And so that's why vision is number 2 for the 7 steps of transformation, but it is early on, because it's kind of like the GPS of life, right? If you don't know where you're going, you don't know what that's going to feel like, what you'll feel like about yourself, what you'll think about yourself, it's going to be very hard to localize getting there. Then, and we don't want to just wander around in life and get to the end being like, I didn't really accomplish much, right? We want to get there and say, I had a vision, I saw that vision, I lived that vision out, look at how awesome I am, right? Like, isn't that what everybody wants? To feel good about themselves at the end? So that's why it's so crucial, and why if it feels too scary to even dream or to say what you want or to admit to yourself what you want or to say out loud what you want, that's got to go. It's got to be worked on, because it is absolutely keeping you from the results that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of those what are some of those things that get in the way of making the leap, even trying to have the vision, even putting yourself in the environments where you can get help figuring out the vision? Usually this is where people start to really go into their timid leadership evidence basket, right? Our behaviors there have created outcomes, and often those outcomes reinforce what our beliefs were, right? If nothing ever works, or I never have enough time, I don't have enough money, then you've also likely had the experiences in your life where you're like, those are true. But what's cool about them is that just because that got created initially in you, and then you've seen the evidence of that, that you get to, as you step into empowered leadership, part of that is characterized by thinking about those things differently, reconsidering, and creating more empowering beliefs and actions around those things. So each of these, the money, the time, the fear of what if this doesn't work, those are all consequences of fallacies, actually. They're kind of illusionary things that seem real when your perspective is down in the lobby. But really, when we can elevate our perspective and see that these things have answers and resources and solutions that are actually quite straightforward, then we get to not be caught in the illusion, and we get to go forward. So let's talk about time, huh?
Yeah.
So we've been, I've been in residency and running a business and going through health crisis. So I've lived out that season of life. Megan has lived out the, young babies and kids and deployed husband and business, entrepreneurship, and going back to school. So when it comes to time, we are not going to be the people to sit here and be like, everybody just has oodles of time. Right? Because most people have not created the kind of lifestyle where they have oodles of time. But here's the thing. If you don't see yourself as having control over that, then there's some serious opportunities to step into empowered leadership, right? Why are we all so busy? Well, we really love the quote from Jim Fortin, one of our mentors, is overwhelm is busy without prioritization. So it is true. When we live in a way that we are proving our worth through our actions and our productivity, when we are proving our worth through the money that we get to generate or not, if we are keep doing the checklist quicksand just so we can say, ooh, look at all the stuff that I did. This is why I existed today, right? All of these things around time are not actually about time or the things, because you can lose a lot of time in people-pleasing behaviors and insecurity behaviors that don't actually feel that good, right? No one wants to be productive just to feel good about themselves. People want to be productive because they want to get something done and see a return on their investment. But when we choose to put things on our checklist that are either not ours or not authentic to us or unaligned with who we're becoming, we're just filling up our calendar and spinning our wheels, using our energy and not getting the results. So how will you know that's happening? It's not getting the results, right? If you're busy and your life's not transforming rapidly, there's something that has occurred there. And so when we say, ooh, because I'm busy, I need to work on my alignment and who I am being, then it gets us to resources and solutions, and we actually can choose to make the decisions to either be less busy, or there are times, like when I was at residency in business, I was busy, but honestly, I was liking a lot of it. It wasn't that, and I would be like writing Instagram posts like on my way up the stairs at work and stuff. And granted, I don't want to work like that all the time, but in that season of life, it was pretty fun, right? Like I made the time. I chose to do those things, and it's fine. It's fine to be busy and to understand, because there's a lot that can happen in life, but do you like it? Or is this one of those things where you're constantly complaining or feeling like, oh, I'm so tired, it's this, it's that? If it's that flavor, then it's got to be worked on, because there's a lot more happiness and empowerment and joy that you can feel day to day that are passing you by. It's not that they're not there, you just don't get to enjoy it.
Yeah, when it comes to I don't have the time for that or I don't have the money for that, we're always just asking the person, is that true? Or is it that usually it doesn't match your values? You don't see the value in it, or it doesn't match your values. I remember a very specific instance where I was invited to a 4-day retreat, and I think it was like $3,000 4-day retreat. And I remember saying out loud, like to myself and to the person, oh, I don't really have the time for that right now, and I don't have the money. Right. And I said that and I meant it. I was like, I've been doing a lot of things. I don't have the time or money. Less than 7 days later, there was a different opportunity that came across my plate that was 18 days long and $15,000. And it was something I wanted to do badly. And I immediately switched into, I want that. How will I make that happen?
And you did.
And I did, right?
In like 2 hours.
And it was so funny to have just had that conversation a week before. And I'm just saying, like, I actually meant it when I said it. I was believing myself. I was like, and it wasn't, I don't have the time or money. It was, I didn't see the value in that thing at that time for that time or that money, because clearly I came up with 5 times as much and, 5 times as many days. So it's never about that. So if you're telling yourself that, we really just want you to look at what is the actual fear under it, or what is it that are you valuing what this thing is that you're wanting to do? Are you afraid I won't get results because you have the nothing works for me? Are you trusting in the process, or are you just holding yourself back? Because when we really want something, I don't know about you all, but we make it happen. And we actually get excited when people come. So, when people come to our 7-day training, it's a bigger investment, right? And I get really excited when that's a huge stretch for somebody to come. When I know that they had to really dig deep to make this happen, they had to have hard conversations with partners. They had to really look at their priorities. They had to look at, like, can I leave my kids? And that excites us, because when they show up to the training, they get to bring all the stuff that came up around it, all the beliefs around, oh, a mom shouldn't leave her kids, or, oh, I shouldn't be taking this money from my kids' education fund, or whatever it is, and get to reframe that so they could see you are the one leading them, and you spending money on you is the best thing for your family, when it's, in our opinion, especially when it's in the category of transformation work, when it's you becoming a leader, when it's you becoming okay with your own emotions so you can sit with your child's emotions. Like, imagine if we had a bunch of parents who actually could handle their own children's emotions and let them feel it and let it go through their body, so it's not stuck for the next 40 years, leading to whatever disease it leads to. Delete, right? I mean, we're working on that. We want that for all the parents. And it starts with us, whether you're a parent or not, it starts with us being able and willing to actually work on ourselves. We want people to have the skills too, so that they can go make the money. We've had people say, hey, I really want to do that thing with you. And we're like, cool, you have tools, go make the money to do the thing. When we want to do it, right? That's what we did. I really wanted to go to that thing.
It's so true, because we definitely want to acknowledge that, especially these days, the financial situations can absolutely be tough. Like, we're not denying the reality of situations like that. Heck, you've heard on the pod, Megan was with a newborn, had some financial issues. I've made big leaps where, sleeping on the ground and stuff. We've been poor, right? I slept with a goat when I was little. But what we do believe strongly is that when people don't have the resources of money, is that they can't often heal and create in the way that they want. And so to leave a situation where it's like, I don't have the resources and I'm okay just not having them, is a situation that is concerning, because a lot of the other things that person wants is then a direct, in direct conflict with that. It's hard to actually do the things, give yourself the experiences and the resources. And so for that, we understand the situations that happen, and our response is that's why we help people be certified, be resourced, and to teach them to actually generate money for themselves when they need it, when they want it, and to create a life for themselves that involves the generation of money so that they can create what they want in the world, right? When we don't have resources, when we don't have money, it is harder to create cooler things in the world, right? It's hard to take your whole family out for this cool trip and to give them like the experience of a lifetime. It's hard to start a charity. It's hard to make a big donation, right? The things that we really want, the currency and the kind of frequency of money is how it's done on this planet. But because that's an energetic exchange, we can also put ourselves in a place that says, I'm not willing to sit here and just say, I'm okay with that anymore. I'm going to do what I need to do so that I can be the kind of person that generates money. And that's why we certify people, is that they can come to a 7-day thing, learn processes, get actual step-by-step on how to put packages together. They get clients and boom, they make their money back in some people are making it back in less than 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. I mean, not very long though, right? And so that's it's not so much the problem, because if you're there, cool, we get that. But then the next question should be, what am I going to do about that? And how can I be more of an empowered leader in that area of my life? Because I understand that what I'm here for is important, and I'm going to honor that, which means that I'm going to give myself the things that I need to create that life and be that person.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So there's many things that can seem big and scary, when we're unsure what to do, when we're feeling like we're in transition, or we feel like things aren't going the way we want, but we are not sure what to do. The best things that we can do is to spend some time in quiet with ourselves and to really allow authentic concerns and fears and emotions to come up that are in the way of you stepping into empowered leadership. Because when you address these things, you can even make that list and listen back to this episode, right? And see what applies to you from that honest and courageous place of saying, ooh, let me be clear about what's going on within me. And what is it that I really want? Because we are here for all of you. And anybody that is ready to make the leap, we are so excited to work with you and give you all the resources, the tools, and the how-tos on how to get there. And your only job really is to ask, am I ready for transformation? Am I willing to put myself into scenarios and situations where I figure it all out? I may not know, but I'm willing to try. That's really all we need to work with. If you are there, then come on over, because the rest of the steps we got you. It's a start to finish, because if you cover all 4 bodies, there is no part of you that's left unattended. So we know that, and we feel all, the confidence of that. So we got you. That's no problem. What are you making the decision to do? Right. What is it that you need, and where do you need to go get that? Once you answer those things, and you will feel all sorts of emotions with it. You'll feel the fear, you'll feel the doubt. We already talked about that. Empowered leaders always feel that too, because, well, some things are scary and you actually don't know in this life how things are going to turn out. But because that's the truth, who are you going to be with? Are you going to sit back and let that win, or are you more powerful than the fear? And if you are, then we would love to work with you. We'd love to have you in this round of HTA. We'd love to support you in your transformation. And we'd be honored to have you as part of our community, because the more that we can come together and support each other and create together in an aligned way, the faster this world can heal, and the faster this world can be more filled with love than hate. And Lord knows it desperately needs that right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We would love, love, love to work with you all. We're so happy that you are here on the podcast. Please share this with any of your friends, anybody who this may be a good fit for, because we just have today and tomorrow for you to join.
All righty. We will catch you on the next episode.
This is my third round of the Health Transformation Accelerator program. Through this program, I have gained many things. One of the most notable is that I've gained more confidence as a mom and have dropped a lot of the guilt that I have felt for having my own needs and wanting my own time. I'm now able to hold space for my daughter and sit with her big feelings without making it mean something about me or about my parenting, which is huge. I feel empowered to ask for what I want and what I need and go after it. I've learned to tune into my intuition more and more and trust myself and worry less about what other people think. I'm still not perfect at it, and I'm okay with that, because perfectionism is not the goal. Compassionate transformation is the best way to describe what this program is all about. There is an amazing community of women that support each other and cheer each other on and celebrate wins together. And I have met lifelong friends that I talk to on a weekly basis. This program is amazing. The container, the safe space that Megan and Alex provide for us is incredibly supportive. And this is the best program that I've ever had the opportunity to be a part of.
Thanks for coming out to hang with us on the podcast. It is our goal to transform the way women are treated in healthcare. And we need your help. We need your help to get the word out. We have a lofty goal of 1 million downloads. And we know that as this podcast grows, we're going to be able to reach more women, get more amazing speakers for you, and bring the most cutting-edge information.
If you found these podcasts helpful, please take a moment to text 5 women you know the link to the series. We appreciate your help so much.